Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a 12-team PPR mock draft from the 5th overall spot on Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard. Inside today's video, we're going to be drafting up against the NFL.com ADP, so it's going to be a lot like we are drafting on NFL Fantasy. Inside today's video, I'm going to be going over my thought process as I make each and every single pick inside of this draft, giving you guys why I make each and every single selection, as well as talking about the other picks going on around me. But before we get into this 12-team PPR mock draft from the 5th overall spot, I would like to ask, if you are new to the YouTube channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 Fantasy Football Championship. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you hit that like button down below to help boost this video up the algorithm so that more beautiful people like yourself can see today's video. I would also like to let you guys know that my rankings and articles are available for free on Osmo.com, the link down below in the description, as well as in the pinned comment. So without further ado, let's get into the draft. So again, this is a 12-team PPR mock draft from the 5th overall spot. Not my most preferred draft spot, but again, you can really draft a really good team from any single spot inside of the draft. But the good thing about a top 5 pick is that we are guaranteed to get one of those top 5 running backs that are so sought after in fantasy football. So the first pick of the draft was Christian McCaffrey, followed by Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, and Alvin Kamara. Good. Luckily for the people like myself who are big fans of Alvin Kamara, Jameis Winston has been named the starter of the New Orleans Saints, which puts my confidence in Alvin Kamara at the maximum point, like at the top point it could have been at. I've always been a believer in Alvin Kamara because I believe that Jameis Winston was going to be the starting quarterback of the team. I never believed that Taysom Hill would get the nod ahead of him, but with the fact that Sean Payton waited so long to name Jameis the starter, it made me a little bit nervous because I think Taysom Hill would be vulturing some of the points that obviously would go to Alvin Kamara. He'd rather run the ball over dumping the ball off to Alvin Kamara, but with Jameis Winston, that should be no issue. I believe that Alvin Kamara should be the number 3 overall pick, and every single time I'm at the 3rd overall pick, I will be taking Alvin Kamara because I love that receiving upside that he has, as well as the upside on the ground, rushing the football, especially with Taysom Hill not being the starting quarterback. So here at number 5, still available, is Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, wide receivers Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and DeAndre Hopkins. So here we are probably going to be looking running back, like I said, taking a wide receiver at the 5th pick, a tight end at the 5th pick. To me, it's not really a risky pick because drafting a Devontae Adams, a Stephon Diggs, a Tyreek Hill, unless they were to get hurt, the odds that they end up busting is very, very low. Travis Kelce, the odds that he ends up being a bust unless he gets hurt is very, very low. But when you're at this top 5 spot, you want to go ahead and make sure you get a running back, because by the time that the draft swings around, sure, I like the running backs in that range, but I don't like any of those running backs as much as I like a guy like Ezekiel Elliott, Aaron Jones, or Austin Eckler. So here, for me, it's between Ezekiel Elliott and Aaron Jones. I personally have Aaron Jones ranked 1 spot higher than Ezekiel Elliott, but I understand most people here, when they're sitting at the 105 and Ezekiel Elliott is here, they click the draft button every single time. These are 2 players that I believe are going to have top 5 potential in 2021. Would I be surprised if Ezekiel Elliott outscored Aaron Jones? No. So we are going to go with Ezekiel Elliott in this draft. If I'm at the 105, if I'm playing in like 10 different leagues, I'd probably take Ezekiel Elliott half the time. The other half the time, I would take Aaron Jones because they are that close in my mind. So here we are going to go ahead and get Ezekiel Elliott, running back of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Ezekiel Elliott wasn't necessarily a bust last season, but he didn't live up to the expectation because after Dakota Prescott ended up getting hurt, everything went down fucking hill for this team. But I believe with Dak healthy, Ezekiel Elliott will be able to have a very solid bounce back season in 2021. It's very easy to project a bounce back for a running back with the skill set of Ezekiel Elliott on a team like the Dallas Cowboys. So after we went with Zeke came Travis Kelce, 9-inch Nicholas Chubb, Devontae Adams, Saquon Barkley, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, and Tyreek Hill. The second round begins with Jonathan Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, Stephon Diggs, Najee Harris, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Brown, and Justin Jefferson. We continue to see in all of these mock drafts, NFL, ESPN, Yahoo, that Calvin Ridley is just being blatantly disrespected. Blatantly disrespected. Calvin Ridley is the clear wide receiver number 1 in Atlanta. He is going to be getting peppered with targets. He was successful last year with Julio Jones and without Julio Jones. Sure, Kyle Pitts is there and is going to soak up targets, but he's not going to be soaking up anywhere near, in my opinion, the amount of targets like a guy in Julio Jones would have on this team. So I love Calvin Ridley this year. The continued disrespect is astonishing in my opinion. So in the first round, 3 non-running backs came off the board. Typically in a 12-team league, I would say anywhere from 2 to 4 non-running backs go inside the first round. Typically, Travis Kelce is locked into the first round. I've seen him fall into the second, but most of the time he's locked into the first, and the other picks are going to be wide receivers Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs. We did see Diggs fall into the second round. Patrick Mahomes also taken in the second round, which in my opinion is one of the dumbest decisions you can make. Now, taking Patrick Mahomes is technically one of the safest picks you can make inside of the second round. Patrick Mahomes is technically one of the safest picks you can make in the second round because the odds that Patrick Mahomes ends up being a bust is very, very low. But I believe early on in the draft, you should be looking to get those running backs, those wide receivers that are the focal point of your team, and then look for the quarterback maybe in the 4th, the 5th round, inside the second round. To me, that is very, very crazy because there's probably no way we see Josh Allen go until at least the 3rd round, and at that point, you really reached on Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. We might not even see Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, any of those guys come off the board until the 4th or the 5th round. So looking here at the 208 running back still available, Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, wide receivers Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson, as well as Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin. So there's a lot of wide receivers I like. The running backs are starting to dwindle down. Now, I know people don't like the way I kind of have, I'm not even slandered Antonio Gibson. I basically just said that I'm not taking him in the first round, inside the second round, at the back of the second round. I'm fine taking him, and that is where we are sitting right now. I'm perfectly fine taking Antonio Gibson at this spot. I believe that he is going to be very, 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 very good in Washington, but Riverboat Ron will not, in my opinion, commit to him on the 3rd down role, so we will be seeing a decent amount of J.D. McKissic this season, taking a lot of receiving upside. Does that make Antonio Gibson a bad pick? No. He's still going to be perfectly fine, still going to be very involved in the receiving game, at least decently, as well as be getting a majority of the touches on the team. So I like Antonio Gibson a lot. The fact that Kyle Allen came out, the backup quarterback, the 3rd-string quarterback of the Washington football teams, and said Antonio Gibson is going to be like Christian McCaffrey, to me, that's a lot of fluff, at least in my opinion. So we're back up on the board. After we went with Antonio Gibson, came George Kittle, DK Metcalf, Darren Waller, Calvin Ridley, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, and Allen Robinson. We did see Josh Allen come off the board inside of the 3rd round. To me, that is also a reach. Wait until the 4th round at the earliest if you're going to be taking a quarterback. So we're back up on the board here. Got the 1-2 punch at running back with Ezekiel Elliott and Antonio Gibson. So here we're open to go wide receiver. The big 3 tight ends are gone, so we're not looking tight end at this point in the draft. The tight ends are continuing to go earlier and earlier. Waller, Kittle, creeping up into the 2nd round. So if you really want Waller, you really want Kittle, you got to take him at the end of the 2nd round. So we're back up on the board here. Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, also available to me. The safest bet here, also a bet with very high upside, is Keenan Allen, wide receiver of the Los Angeles Chargers. Keenan Allen had a pretty solid year last year with Justin Herbert, the pervert, once he took over. This offense went into overdrive. They were playing so well. Keenan Allen is going to be peppered with targets in this offense, going to be seeing one of the highest amount of targets in the NFL, and that is something I really do look for in PPR format. So after Keenan Allen came Julio Jones, DeAndre Swift, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, Lamar Jackson, David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Kyler Murray, Mike Evans, Robert Woods, Chris Godwin, Chris Carson, Amari Cooper, and Miles Sanders. So right now, we've seen 4 quarterbacks come off the board and 3 tight ends through the first 4 rounds. The 3 tight ends, very normal. The 4 quarterbacks, in my opinion, at least a little bit out of the ordinary. So we're back up here. We got our 2 running backs, and we have Keenan Allen. In the 4th round here, wide receiver still available, Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett. I'm fine missing out on part of this group at wide receiver. But what I'm not fine missing out on is the potential. I kind of am fine missing out on James Robinson because I know I can get Mike Davis likely in the next round, but maybe not. I like James Robinson a decent amount. Now, I've talked about this in multiple videos on my channel at this point ever since Travis Etienne ended up getting hurt, which sucks, obviously. I hope he recovers. But James Robinson is the clear running back there. But Urban Meyer wants to use Carlos Hyde enough to potentially derail a top 12 season to snatch it from James Robinson's hands. He has the potential, he has the skill to be top 12, but I'm trying to tell you guys to pump on the brakes a little bit when it comes to James Robinson. So again, in the 4th round, I'm fine, but I've seen him go in the 3rd round, and I'm still fine taking him there, but I'm a little bit more cautious. I think he falls into the 4th in a decent amount of leagues, so I don't think this is really that out of the ordinary that he'd be available at pick number 44. So we're going to go ahead and snag James Robinson, but understand there is definitely some risk with how Urban Meyer, I believe at least, will use Carlos Hyde. So we're back up on the board here in 9 picks. We're about 10-ish, 11 minutes into this video, so if you guys have ended up enjoying the video thus far, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I'm putting out this content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 Fantasy Football Championship. So if you have been enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as hitting the like button. Very nice. It lets me know that this video was very nice and that you like my name is Borat. I wish I could do the Borat voice better. I think I do it pretty good, but I wish I could do it better. So after we went ahead and got James Robinson, came Dickie, Dak Prescott, Mark Andrews, Deontay Johnson, Kyle Pitts, Adam Thielen, Josh Jacobs, Tyler Lockett, and Mike Davis. So a bunch of tight ends off the board. All of the big 5 quarterbacks are gone, that being Allen, Dak, Lamar, Mahomes, and Kyler Murray, all gone. Pretty strange, in my opinion. Typically, they're not gone by the 5th round, but again, on NFL, ESPN, Yahoo, the ADP is very, very different. So make sure that when you're drafting, to do your mock draft for your draft, to go ahead and go on Yahoo. Go on NFL, go on ESPN, wherever your draft is, to mock draft. That will give you the best look into it. I like doing the mock draft simulator against the NFL, ESPN, Yahoo rankings because, I mean, I sat there for 20 minutes earlier waiting on a draft. I get into a draft. Someone takes Mahomes at the 101. That is not going to happen. And then I get into another draft, and someone took Travis Kelce at the 101. That is also not going to happen. So I had to leave, wasted 20 minutes of my fucking life dealing with that bullshit. So that's why we got a mock draft simulator video. I know not everyone prefers that. Hopefully tomorrow's mock draft, you guys actually see me draft up against real people. I do apologize. So looking at running backs, it does kind of suck because Darrell Henderson did fall to us. So did Myles Gaskin, who I like. But at the same token, I could still get a nice wide receiver here. So after we went with Robinson, came Dak Prescott. Oh, I already read that off the board, so I do apologize. Josh Jacobs in the 5th round to me is still a reach. I'm only really comfortable taking him in the 6th or 7th round because I believe Kenyon Drake is going to be very much involved in this offense, enough so to kind of scatter the potential of Josh Jacobs, as well as taking away a lot of the receiving volume that Josh Jacobs would get. So I'm not really all that on board with drafting Josh Jacobs in this draft. So we are going to go ahead and go wide receiver here. We already have 3 running backs, 1 wide receiver. And to me, it's a no-brainer to go with Cooper Kupp here. While I do like Robert Woods a decent amount more, I do believe that Matthew Stafford is going to be able to sustain 2 top 24 wide receivers this season. He has done it in the past with Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. So I believe he could do it with 2 wide receivers who are very talented in Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I expect this LA Rams team to be very, very good this season. After Cooper Kupp came Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert the Pervert, T.J. Hawkinson, Russell Wilson, Kareem Hunt, Brandon Ayuk, Chase Claypool, Michael Thomas, DJ Moore, Odell Beckham Jr., Jamar Chase, Darrell Henderson, Devontae Smith, and Myles Gaskin. On NFL, Michael Thomas is ranked way too high. That was trying to be like a megaphone, but I think it just like made me sound like fucking Bane right there, so I apologize. So don't draft Michael Thomas this high because the amount of time he is going to miss, to me, is as unknown as it gets. He might miss 3 games. He might miss 9 games. He may never come back because that's who Michael Thomas is, okay? So understand that. You're taking a risk when you take him. So don't take him in the 6th round. Wait till the 8th, the 9th, the 10th round. And the biggest reason why you might want to draft Michael Thomas is if your league has an IR spot. So right after the draft, you stick him on IR and you add a new wide receiver to your team via the waiver wire. So we're back up on the board here. Bunch of quarterbacks going, which is surprising because typically after all those big 5 quarterbacks come off the board, there's a lull of a round or 2, but here we don't really see that. So we're back up on the board here. 3 running backs as well as 2 wide receivers. Looking at running backs, Chase Edmonds, Javonte Williams. Nothing I'm really looking to invest too heavily into in the next round, the 7th round. If Damian Harris is there, that is a smash pick. I like Damian Harris a lot. I think I've seen his ADP keep on crawling up the board because of the fact that now Sony Michel's gone and now people aren't worried. Like, what were people worried about with Sony Michel? What was Sony Michel going to do for Damian Harris? I don't know, but, you know, it is what it is. So here, T. Higgins, Kenny Golladay, Juju Smith-Schuster, Robbie Anderson, Jerry Jeudy. Kenny Golladay is a smash pick for me inside the 6th round basically every single time, but he's still not back. He's still not back, not practicing today, continues to keep on the sideline, missing valuable time. And he's on a new team. If he's not back by Monday, by Tuesday, I'm going to stand here and tell you to not draft him. Right now, I think you're still fine to draft him, but I am way more worried than I was last week, 2 weeks ago, because it seemed like there was not a big deal. He'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks and everything will be fine, but we're still waiting on him. So put some caution on yourself drafting Kenny Golladay. So to me, that makes the decision even easier here. I'm going to go with Titty Boy T. Higgins, wide receiver of the Bengals. I believe I've taken him in a lot of these mock drafts because in this range, I really like T. Higgins. I think he's the clear wide receiver 1 in Cincinnati with Jamar Chase struggling, and I think that is an excellent pick here inside the 6th round on a team that I believe to be ultra pass heavy in 2021 because they were really pass heavy last year when Joe Burrow was obviously the starting quarterback before he ended up getting hurt. So after with T. Higgins came Juju Smith-Schuster, Corvette, Kenny Golladay, Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's ADP is way too high on NFL. Way too high. There is no way I'm taking Michael Pittman inside the 6th round. I'm not even really wanting to take him in the 10th round. So I'm definitely not taking him in the 6th round. After that, we see Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, Brandon Cooks, Cortland Sutton, LA Rams, and Will Fuller. So the ADP on NFL, I will tell you right now, is the most fucked up ADP I've ever seen. I'm talking about the rankings on the screen are so terribly wrong. There are players buried in the depths of the website that are clear players that you should be drafting in like the 6th, 7th, 8th round. There are tight ends buried. There are players ranked ahead of these tight ends, like the Carolina Panthers starting tight end. His name is like, he's some Italian guy. His name's like Gucci something. His name's not really Gucci, but I don't know what his name is. Maybe we can find him on here. Whatever his name is, I'm sorry. I apologize to you for not knowing your name off the top of my head. It's like Riki. Yeah, his name is Riki, something like that. I apologize for not remembering his name because he's not fantasy relevant at all. He's like the 13th highest ranked tight end on the website. So really make sure when you're drafting on NFL to really pay attention so that you don't miss out on a guy because you think he's taken, but in reality he's just pick. Like Damian Harris was pick when I did my draft last week. I have a draft tonight. He was pick 144 on there. 144. He's like a 6th, 7th round pick. 144. How does that make any sense? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why you got to pay attention to the draft board. Really look it over. Hop into a mock, just stare at the screen, and really look at it so that you can remember these guys that are really falling deep down the board. So after T. Higgins came Juju Smith-Schuster, Kenny Golladay, Michael Pittman, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, Brandon Cooks, Cortland Sutton, LA Rams defense, and Will Fuller. So here to me, it is a no-brainer. It is a smash pick onto Mr. Damian Harris, running back 1 of the New England Patriots. I understand that drafting a New England Patriots running back, you're having flashbacks to the past of remembering, oh man, that's a running back by committee. Oh man, none of these guys are going to really stand out. Just pause that. Try to take that out of your mind and draft Damian Harris because he's the clear lead back there. I understand he doesn't have that much receiving upside because he hasn't been receiving that many receiving receptions in the past year. 2 years he's been in the NFL, but I think that things may change a little bit this season. And once Mac Jones gets in, which I believe he will eventually get in, chef's kiss to Damian Harris because then he won't be getting vultured by Wham Bam Cam Newton. So after Damian Harris came Curtis Samuel, DJ Chark, DJ Chark, Ryan Tannehill, Robbie Anderson, Jerry Jeudy, Leonard Fournette, Antonio Brown, Chase Edmonds, Hollywood Brown, Javonte Williams, Darnell Mooney, Raheem Mostert, Zach Moss, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. So we're back up on the board here. Definitely not looking to go defense or kicker at this point. People will take defenses around the 8th, 9th, 10th round. Once they have their starting roster filled out, some people just lean defense and kicker. I would advise you not to do that. So we're back up on the board here looking quarterback, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow. I'm probably going to end up not looking quarterback just yet, waiting for about a round or 2 to get one. Unless, of course, people start taking backup quarterbacks, then you kind of have to really panic and just hammer in on the quarterback position. But I don't think someone should take a backup quarterback just yet. But people do it. So we're back up here. Tight ends, we're kind of in the dead zone. I'm waiting for Irv, waiting for Gesicki, waiting for Higbee. So not in the 8th round here. Probably going to go running back or wide receiver. I like Corey Davis a lot. The 8th round is ambitious. But his potential looks really, really good here in New York with the Jets because of the fact that he is going to probably be the number 1 wide receiver in targets there. So I understand it's definitely a slight reach, but I'm fine doing that at this point in the draft. So after we went ahead and got Mr. Corey Davis, we see the Colts defense come off the board, followed by Melvin Gordon, Baltimore Ravens defense, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Michael Carter, David Johnson, Jarvis Landry, and Kenyon Drake. So we're back up on the board here at this pick. Probably going to go with our quarterback now before too many teams take quarterbacks. So let's click on the draft board here. This is one of the most clutch things about Fantasy Pros is you can click buy your roster. So me and Sasquatch Barkley don't have a quarterback. So we probably should go one because eventually people will start taking backup quarterbacks. A bunch of teams don't have a tight end, which is pretty normal this late in the draft. So we are going to go quarterback. The question here is if you're trying to go safe or risky. The safest bet here is Stafford. The second safest bet is Burrow. The least safe bet is Hurts, but the highest upside to potentially be a top 5 guy is Jalen Hurts. So it depends what you want to do here. You want to go safety? You want to go upside? We already have the LA Rams wide receiver in Cooper Kupp, so we're going to go with the stack here with Matthew Stafford and with Cooper Kupp. But if you wanted to lean Hurts, you wanted to lean Joe Burrow, I would not be concerned with that as well because I have T. Higgins. That would be the Joe Burrow, T. Higgins stack. Now, I'm not going into drafts looking to stack. I'm not going to the draft thinking, hey, when I draft Cooper Kupp, now I need to go ahead and get Joe Burrow. When I draft Keenan Allen, in my head, I'm not like, oh, now I need to go get Justin Herbert. You shouldn't be thinking that way, but some people do. They like to get the stack on the team. Stacking is much more important in best ball when compared to a regular redraft league. So after Stafford came James Conner, Tyler, Boyd, Trey Sermon, Marvin Jones, Jalen Waddle away, Waddle, Dallas Goedert, Debo Samuel, T.Y. Hilton, Miami Dolphins, A.J. Dillon, Noah Fant, Gus Edwards, Michael Gallup, and Ronald Jones. So we got a bunch of running backs on the team right now. 1, 2, 3 running backs in the starting roster, 1 on the bench, 4 running backs, 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers. So here we're definitely going to need to look for a running back here at this pick. A good rule of thumb is to finish with more running backs than wide receivers in the draft. I say this in every video, so I'll keep it short for you guys who watch all the videos. You've heard me say this a million times. The reason why I want more running backs than wide receivers is because any given week you can whip out your phone, you can whip out your computer, type in anything. You just go wide receivers, you click on it, boom, there's like 6,000 wide receivers you could potentially throw in your lineup and could score 15 plus points. At running back, that is near impossible unless of an injury, so that's why I like to load up on these upside running backs later in the draft here. So I'm going to go with Jamal with 2 A's, Williams, running back of the Detroit Lions, who in my opinion is going to be seeing a lot more work than a lot of people are guessing, especially if they like DeAndre Swift. So after we went ahead and got Mr. Jamal with 2 A's Williams, we see Henry Ruggs come off the board, Tony Pollard, Devontae Parker, Cole Beasley, Devin Singletary, Kenneth Gainwell, Joe Burrow, and Tariq Cohen. I don't know why people are drafting Tariq Cohen, but, you know, that happens. So we're back up on the board here, and I'm fine taking a tight end at this pick. That's not Irv Smith or anything. While I have Irv Smith ranked the highest, I do want to not take him in every single draft. So here we're going to go with big old Bob Tonyan, tight end of the Green Bay Packers. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Tonyan fell off a cliff because his stats last year were loaded by the fact that he had 11 touchdowns. He had 59 targets, 52 catches. He had only 586 yards, but 11 touchdowns. Could that decrease? Obviously it could, but he's on the Packers. Rodgers is going to be pissed off. He's going to play really good again. So, like, would I be surprised if he scored 11 touchdowns again? No. So that's why I'm fine drafting him. But again, there is probably regression coming his way. After Robert Tonyan, big old Bub Tonyan came McCole Hardman, Irv Smith, Laviska Shenault, Washington football team, Rob Gronkowski, Alexander Madison, Gabriel Davis, Janu Smith, Mike Licky, Ahmad Gasicki, Buffalo Bills, Naheem Hines, Jalen Hurts, New Orleans Saints defense, and Phillip Lindsay. So we're back up on the board here, looking to load up on some more running backs and wide receivers. I like James White a lot, but we already have Damian Harris, and we're not really about to handcuff Damian Harris with James White because I'd probably be looking to play James White certain weeks because I think he will be the receiving back there, getting a decent amount of work, especially once Mr. Mystic Mac Jones gets into the game. So here we're going to lean wide receiver. We're going to go with a safer bet here at this pick. You could go a little bit more risky with Mike Williams. I think Russell Gage is a really safe pick at this point. He is the clear wide receiver 2 in Atlanta, and he filled into that role very nicely last season, as Mr. Borat would say. So I think he is in a pretty solid role for success this season in Atlanta. After we went with Russell Gage came Mike Will made it. Deshaun Watson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sony Michel, Sterling Shepard, Mark Ingram, Todd Gurley, and J.D. McKissick. Don't draft Todd Gurley. You want to know why? Because he's not on a team. Deshaun Watson is one of the most interesting picks in drafts because he might play this season. And if he plays and you got him in the 12th round, you might have just fucked around and won your league. But he could also not play and you wasted a 12th round pick. But is it really a waste because it's a 12th round pick? So that's kind of how I feel about it. So we're back up on the board here. And we're going to go ahead and go with a bench piece here. And we are going to go running back. We're going to go with Giovanni Bernard here. Now, actually, we're going to go with Tevin Coleman because I think out of this committee, he will be the starter at the beginning of the year. Eventually, Michael Carter will pass him up. But maybe you can fool one of your league mates in when Michael Carter doesn't play the greatest week 1. Tevin Coleman gets a lot more touches. He plays way better. To trade your league mate, Tevin Coleman, and you laugh your way straight to the motherfucking bank because I think eventually Michael Carter will become the starter of the New York Football Jets because, in my opinion, Tevin Coleman, Ty Johnson, LaMichael P. Ryan, those are career backups. Career backups. Mr. Michael Carter is bound to be the starter. Bound, as Kanye West should say. After Tevin Coleman came Giovanni Bernard, Latavius Murray, James White, Marlon Mack, Logan Thomas, Rashad Penny, Chuba Hubbard, my old bitch lame, but my young Hoku, Nelson Aguilar, Kyle Juszczyk. Someone just drafted a fullback. What a selection. What a selection that is, right? Drafting a fucking fullback. Damian Williams, 49ers defense, Le'Veon Bell, John Brown also not on a team. Not on a team for Mr. Le'Veon Bell. So here, we're going to go with some more running backs. You could go kicker and defense here. That is the normal strategy. But with how far we are away from the end of preseason, the end of training camp, the best bet is to go with the safer option here and then pick up defense and kicker later. Have that assurance on your bench with these extra running backs, these extra wide receivers. In case an injury was to happen, if Gaskin was to go down, I believe Salvon Ahmed would be the heir to the throne in Miami there, and he would be getting the majority of touches if Gaskin was to get hurt. I don't really believe Malcolm Brown would be that guy. So after we went with Salvon Ahmed came Ramondre Stevenson, Emmanuel Sanders, Elijah Moore, Trevor Lawrence, bunch of kickers. And here we're going to go ahead and select a wide receiver here. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers, wide receiver of the New England Patriots, looking like he may be the wide receiver 1 in New England. So that's a solid pick to close out our draft inside of the 15th round. The rest of the picks were kickers. So we got an A+. We got a very, very nice from Fantasy Pros, 98 out of 100. So, our roster is quarterback Matthew Stafford, running backs Ezekiel Elliott, Antonio Gibson, wide receivers are Keenan Allen, and Cooper Kupp. Our tight end is Robert Tonyan. Our flex is James Robinson. Our bench is comprised of T. Higgins, Damian Harris, Corey Davis, Jamal Williams, Russell Gage, Tevin Coleman, Salvon Ahmed, and Jacoby Myers. So, thank you guys all so much for watching this video. I hope you did end up enjoying. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the support recently. We've been getting so many subscribers. It means the world to me, but without you guys, there's no reason to even make these videos. So it really is, it's nothing to me. It's to you guys. So thank you guys so much. I owe it all to you. I love you guys. Make sure that you stay safe. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Today was a 2 mock draft day. I didn't know what else to record for a video. Tomorrow there'll be a mock draft and probably another normal video. So I do love you guys. Please make sure you stay safe as always. Good boy.